When John Wick came out in 2014, it took the world by storm. Its groundbreaking action, mysterious assassin underworld, and legendary main character made it the first movie of its kind in the action genre, but it might not have ever happened if the first 30 minutes of this first movie weren't so darn good. Today I wanted to break down why the first 30 minutes of John Wick are the most important by far of the entire franchise. Derek Kolstad, the writer for John Wick, said that he focused most of his efforts into creating a rock-solid first act of this movie. He believed that a solid opening would make the rest of the film very easy to write. In other words, the very creator of the Baba Yaga himself believed the first 30 minutes of the movie were the most important. So I'll take his word for it. And on its face, this seems ridiculous because we don't see John Wick murder a single person for the first 25 minutes of this movie. I mean, seriously, Derek? This is how you intend to introduce the greatest action hero of the 21st century with like cute dog scenes and him crying? Exactly. John Wick opens with a flash forward. An SUV crashes into a concrete wall and out crawls the boogeyman, bloody and mangled. He pulls out his phone and presses play on a video that we can only see through a bloody glass screen. It's a video of him filming his wife like a creeper. For some reason he films them kissing too? Yuck. Come on, John. But this is actually important. What kind of person films their significant other like this? I've never done it before. Do you expect the most dangerous man in the world to film himself kissing his wife? The answer is no. This is not the behavior we expect from a guy who can clear a whole room of men in 4.5 seconds. This is warm behavior we expect from a guy who actually has a heart. This is not how you introduce an action hero. Or is it? We smash cut to John waking up at 6 a.m., making coffee, and walking past a bunch of pictures of his wife. Then he starts having flashbacks of cute dates he had with her and her descent into illness and death. On her deathbed, he literally needs to be the one to kill her, but he doesn't do it with a knife or a gun or a pencil. He does it with a nod to the doctor. There's a certain calmness to that nod that subconsciously plants the idea in the audience's mind that this guy has seen some dark stuff. Later at her funeral, he's visited by the Green Goblin. Casting Willem Dafoe as Marcus was a beautiful, creative decision. This guy has a face like a cold-blooded assassin. He also has a face that looks like God did a 4-minute tap dance on it before he sent it off to the bakery. Anyway, Marcus's mere presence and appearance add to the mystery of who is John Wick. Why does he know this sinister-looking old man, and why does he feel so guilty? Keanu Reeves does a great job portraying sadness and pain in every scene that he's in. Like even when he picks up his dog at the doorstep, the way that he slowly saunters out from behind his door, it just conveys grief so well. The woman wants her pen back as well, and it's probably because, she knows what he can do with a pencil.
And the pen?
Sorry.
Here you go. Good night.
Thanks.
Mr. Wick gets his dog, reads the last letter from his wife, and bursts into tears. Guys, is this really the Baba Yaga we're talking about here? Sheesh, get a grip, John. Now we get to watch various scenes of Keanu Reeves being a dog dad. The cuteness overload is immeasurable, and you almost start wondering whether we're ever going to see John Wick put hot lead through somebody's cranium. These scenes are important though. John bonds with his dog, and this dog is the epitome of cute. I mean, just look at her, taking craps and, wagging that tail. Later on, when his dog gets these scenes make us feel that pain with him even more. At the 11-minute mark, we're finally introduced to the D-bag of the decade, Theon Greyjoy. Yosef. He is a heck of a bad guy. I hate this guy. He makes you hate him so much in only 120 seconds. I mean, his face does a lot of the heavy lifting by itself, but his acting does too. I mean, you don't put your hands on a guy's car, dude. You just don't. He tells John that everything has a price in Russian, and John finally does something halfway cool when he responds back in Russian. This raises a lot of questions, like, How does John know Russian? The next scene is important. John stops by the local airport and he has a staring contest with a security guard who later lets him in. Then he almost gets himself killed. This actually raises a lot of questions, like what happened to John's dog? Did he drop him off at home first? Why would he take the dog to the gas station, only to fill up his tank with gas and then take him back home afterwards and then go to the airport? I don't really understand that logic that much. In seriousness, this scene is actually very important. Obviously, we see that John Wick doesn't shy away from danger at all, but we also see the fact that this security guard with a single look opens the doors for John so he can go play NASCAR for a couple minutes. The respect that other people give to John before he ever fires a single bullet is what elevates John's character to legendary status in our minds. John, throughout this movie, is someone everybody knows, whether it's the police officer, the waste disposal dudes, Sharon, Perkins, the bartender at the Continental, Aurelio, or the guy who works outside the Red Circle who, John Wick didn't kill. They know him. His reputation precedes him. John does not even need to ask this guy to open up the gates. He just looks at him. I mean, that's power. That makes your main character larger than life, and we see this for the first time in this tiny interaction that John has with a security guard. The next scene is the inciting incident of Act 1, and it is the match that lights the fire for the rest of this movie. In short, John's house gets broken into, he gets beat up, and Yosef kills his dog. Then, to add insult to injury, they drag the dog's dead body right in front of John to wake up to. This dude's having a really bad week. Derek Kolstad, John Wick's writer, said that he didn't want to rehash the cliche of the bad guys killing the good guy's family and then the good guy going out to get revenge for that. Originally, John Wick was actually written for an older character to play, somebody like Harrison Ford or Clint Eastwood, somebody like in their 60s and 70s. Derek wanted to do something different here, and I respect him for that. The next few scenes in Act 1 don't feature John Wick directly, but they do a lot of heavy lifting to set up his character. Yosef takes John's car to Aurelio, giving the camera the finger on the way in, and arrogantly demands Aurelio to give him new papers and VIN numbers for the car. At this point, we want somebody, anybody, to bash Yosef's head in with a metal baseball bat. Aurelio immediately recognizes this as John Wick's car, adding to the legend of the Baba Yaga, and decides to punch Yosef in the face. Then he stares down the barrel of a gun that's pulled on him, daring the wielder to shoot him. Damn. If fearless people like Aurelio know and respect John Wick a lot, then what does that say about John Wick's character? Take note, we haven't even seen John kill anybody yet. All we've seen him do is play with dogs, cry about his wife, fill his gas tank up, and get beat up by a couple Russian twerps. Despite all this, the importance of Mr. Wick, the importance of his legend is growing in our minds because of these interactions and the respect that people are giving his name. It's at this point we meet Vigo, the greatest villain in John Wick history, bar none. It's not even close. He calls Aurelio and asks him why Aurelio struck his son. Aurelio only needs to say a few syllables for Vigo to understand exactly why.
He stole John Wick's car, sir, and killed his dog.
That's it. That's all we get. This obviously powerful dude calling Aurelio from a New York City rooftop only needs to hear the words John Wick for him to understand that his son is in deep doo-doo. Vigo goes downstairs where his lawyer, Avi, tells him an important deal just went through. Despite that, Vigo looks like he has just seen a ghost. A very important man is spooked at the very idea of John Wick coming for him. That says a lot for your main character. Vigo then has a meeting with his son that's equal parts hilarious and terrifying. First, he hands him a drink and then he punches him in the stomach. Vigo is supposed to be the bad guy in this movie, but I can't help but love him after moments like this.
What the fuck, Vigo?
Right, you stay.
Vigo then, for the first time ever, launches into the backstory of John Wick.
That fucking nobody is John Wick.
The next few moments are some of the most satisfying moments in John Wick history. We finally learn about John and are explicitly told that John Wick used to put a lot of hot lead in craniums for a living. But it wouldn't mean much without the 23 minutes that came before this scene. John's portrayed, whether we like it or not, as a pretty weak guy so far. He gets beat up by twerps, cries at a letter that his wife sends him, and can only watch as his dog gets killed. Then, in the following minutes, this movie places a +4 Uno card on the table and makes us feel like crap for doubting our Lord and Savior Keanu Reeves. The first 23 minutes also did a couple other things. 1, it made us want Yosef dead at any cost. 2, it made us feel exceedingly bad for John Wick. 3, it made us want John Wick to unleash violence, speed, and momentum on his enemies. In this first part of John Wick, writer Derek Kolstad is stretching that rubber band of the plot back on his thumb super far. And he's done it so brilliantly that the audience is literally on their hands and knees begging this guy to release it.
We should be on our hands and knees right now.
We want hot lead and craniums put there by John Wick. We want John to burn New York City to the freaking ground, baby. That's the setup we get before Viggo starts giving us the backstory of John Wick and how he is the Baba Yaga or the boogeyman.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
The audience is sitting back, nodding their heads, licking their lips, and widening their eyes, and getting excited as Viggo speaks, knowing, without a doubt, that John Wick is going to get whatever he wants. The nail in the coffin is when Viggo tells Yosef, "You will do nothing because you can do nothing."
You will do nothing because you can do nothing. So get the fuck out of my sight.
John's impossible task is never explained, adding to the mystery and the legend of John Wick. And we know that the thing that he did that day, the bodies they buried, built the foundation of what Viggo's empire is today. All that's left now is for John to prove to us, the audience, that he's worthy of being called the Baba Yaga. We gotta see it with our own eyes. The film, in a way, gives itself its own impossible task because, it has to prove to us that John Wick is actually this badass guy when so far he's just been beaten up by twerps. But it doesn't disappoint us in John Wick's first real appearance as the Baba Yaga himself. Like John Wick's impossible task of building Viggo's empire, the first 30 minutes of John Wick do a pretty great job building the foundation of the greatest action hero of the 21st century. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. There's a written version of this video on my Substack. It's free to sign up. The link is in the description. There's also other written versions of film reviews and breakdowns that I've done there. So please feel free to go check that out. It's free. And also, if you like this video, please like and subscribe if you want. It really helps me out a ton. And let me know down below what you thought of John Wick Part 1 and how important it was for you. Okay? All right. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.